Welcome everybody, this is Andrew with another Review the Right Thing, and we're going to be talking about some more collection updates, vinyl, for the most part. So I haven't done one since the end of July, so kind of want to get an update. We're basically through the month now, and so it's been 20 some days since I have done a review on this. So I've got a few new additions to the collection, not a whole lot, but I'm going to also add in a couple CDs, which I didn't talk about before. I'm not even sure if I've really even mentioned on this channel, but I've gone back and forth over the years on what to collect. I collect both for the most part. However, I've got like 4,500 CDs, and I did have like 1,300 vinyl at one point. I sold over half of my collection off, so I got rid of a lot of really cool things that I'm now kind of bumming about. But, and at the time, it was because it was just like, well, the vinyl's worth something, I can trade it in for something else. I have the CD. CDs take up far less room, and now the trend is going towards more artists are releasing vinyl. There's not as much CDs being pressed, or they're just doing digital only. I mean, most of the things that I've been listening to don't have physical releases. I mean, as far as lately. I've been rocking basically a lot of rap, and there's just a lot of that doesn't have physical releases. And if they do, they're, West Side Gun, and he's selling his record for $50 on his web store, and they're limited to 300 copies, and when they're gone, now people are selling them for $400, and it's just like, yeah, I'll never see that. I would love to have that new West Side Gun. That album is amazing. If anyone's more in the style of old rap like Bone Thugs-n-Harmony or Wu-Tang, definitely recommend West Side Gun. I would definitely check out anybody on Griselda Records. It's West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher, and there's a new guy, Boldy James. Conway, Boldy, and West Side have all released albums this year. Boldy James has released 2, I think. And Conway the Machine, I think, has done 2 or 3. They've been busy guys this year. So, recommend that stuff. But again, I'll never find that. And it's not available on CD. So, anyways, I'm trying to cut this short. So now I'm buying more vinyl again. However, I did grab a couple CDs, and I wanted to talk about those too. So, let's get this started. First one, Desultory. This album came out in 1996. It is called Swallow the Snake. They are pretty much just an Entomb style death metal band from the late 90s. Actually something that I didn't even purchase. A guy that I do Kung Fu with, he is like me. We buy a lot of stuff. And I do this too, where I will get rid of things, obviously. However, I've gotten to a point to where there's not much, fat to trim here and there. But it's getting harder and harder because everything I have is stuff that, I might not listen to it even once a year, but they are things that I will pop on and be very, very happy that I have. And so it's a great disc. I would definitely recommend picking that up if you're a fan of like Entombed, basically. Middle of the road Entombed, so not so much left side or left hand path or clandestine, but I'd say more in like the kind of borderline hardcore stuff. So like Wolverine Blues era, even into like the early 2000s, like Morning Star and stuff like that. So pretty awesome. Definitely check those guys out. This other thing was another random just purchase at work, out on Wounded Bird Records, which is a company that typically reissues a lot of jazz, old classic rock. But they're more of like the niche classic rock. So, they've re-released the Cactus albums. Having trouble. I have a bunch of stuff on the catalog. I don't know. I can't really look behind me and just read. So there's definitely other things in my collection, and a lot of jazz too. So I have like Jan Hammer, some Herbert Laws, so stuff like that is also reissued on their label too. So it does a little bit of a mix of stuff. This was filed in our gospel section, and it is definitely like late era jazz, pretty much where I cut off. Like 80 is, there's not much that came out in 80 as far as jazz that I can really get behind. So late 70s is really where you're losing me, because that stuff, you're getting into a lot of the kind of funky 80s jazz, what I would say is like the soul jazz stuff, but sounds like it's all from like a 80s cop show drama television series. It all has like this kind of similar, I don't know, like upbeat, fast-paced kind of feel to it, you know. Lots of horns, really dramatic, and that kind of thing. So, but like there's some stuff that I really like from that era, like 78, before it started getting too cheesy. So, you know, Bob James did like his first 4 albums, I think, are pretty awesome. Lou Donaldson did some stuff late in his career that was pretty cool around that time. So I'm having trouble thinking of some other artists, but I know I've got some other stuff. But there's some cool things that came out in that time period. You just have to kind of know what you like and be willing to take risks. So anyways, this one, first of all, it has got a ridiculous stack of people. Most of them, I don't know who they are. It, you know, basically points out the big ones on the front. So Average White Band, Klaus Doldinger of Passport. Passport I'm not super familiar with. I know they're like an older prog band. Don Ellis, I'm not familiar with him. Sonny Fortune, I believe, was I thought he was like a blues guitarist of some sort. Benny King, definitely a blues guitarist. Luther Vandross, obviously soul artist. And Herbie Mann, flutist. He was also one of those artists in the 80s that kind of did more of the cheesier stuff that I can't really get behind. So, but this CD is pretty awesome. It definitely grabbed my attention. Very interesting. Lots of horns, very funky. But highly recommended if you're into the soul jazz thing, especially if you do kind of appreciate more of the 80s stuff, where it does kind of get that more, I don't know, dramatic law show feel, I guess. So I was just trying to read the back, because I know this album has a different singer than the rest of their material, but Candlemass, Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus, just old Doom, right in the title, you know, Doomicus. Think you know what you might be getting into. Anyways, their older stuff is very Sabbathy, definitely heavier guitars in there, slower riffs, so it's not quite like Ozzy, and I have the guy's name at the tip of my tongue, because he's got a very interesting name. He was the guy that basically sang through their entire catalog. This first album had a different lead singer, but that lead singer was also really awesome, and now I'm also having trouble remembering his name. So when I'm editing this video, I'll probably put a little up there to say who they were. Next, we got Cradle of Filth, Darkly Venus and Versa. So awesome Cradle of Filth album. To me, they don't do much different with each release. There was a period that I did not like, though. Well, obviously, early career would be, I think, their more black metal stuff. I think it's hard to categorize them as black metal in their later career, because I argue that a lot of that stuff is just more extreme metal with a lot of orchestration. Because, yeah, it still has its blackened elements, but then there's also a lot of, like, melodic death metal influence in this nowadays, too. I don't think it just tries to stay in one category. Cradle of Filth is just Cradle of Filth. They've just become a whole new animal, and it took me a long time to really appreciate everything that they do. I still don't really like Thornography, or Nymphenimene's got some pretty awesome tracks, but that's basically the period that I don't like, and then they got awesome again. But But this is one of the ones I didn't have on CD at all, so found it on vinyl, and I had to snag it. Midnight, and sorry for the graphic artwork if we offend anybody, but this is, yeah, Midnight. Just some sleazy speed metal, influenced black metal, one man. I would say it sounds like Motorhead, except for with rougher vocals. That's basically what it sounds like. But they're pretty awesome. I like this group a lot. This album was from 2017, I believe. So I already had it on CD, but I didn't have it on vinyl. I don't have The Rebirth by Blasphemy at all yet, which is their newest one, or his newest one. So, you know, somebody traded it in at work, and I can get my discount on it. It's like I could just trade in the CD and then not paying a whole lot more for the vinyl. Embrace of Thorns, and this album is Darkness Impenetrable. This was definitely something I was less familiar with. However, Nuclear War Now Productions was something that I am familiar with because of the Abigail stuff, and I'm pretty sure they have a really weird name. Like Blasphemogger or something like that. But them, and there's other things that I know from that label too, basically does mostly black metal. I think they have definitely a particular style of black metal. Abigail, I would say, is, you know, it's one man, it's kind of more traditional, but everything else I've heard kind of has this very dense sound, not your traditional black metal. The vocals then are kind of more of like that shouted, raspy sound. You know, so like everything else about it, I would say, is pretty close to black metal. You know, lo-fi production, the you know, raspy, shouted vocals, you know, sound very on par with a lot of the more traditional black metal. But the wall of sound and the fact that it's really dense, and the writing in the music is not the same either. It's, you know, they're not playing like the same super fast chords like a lot of black metal does. They're kind of mixing it up and creating this wall. But this album's pretty sweet. Like I said, I had no idea what I was getting into, but I knew the label, so I grabbed that. Next two are pretty cool. I was really excited at first, but I'm less excited now on one of them. And I already had them on CD, but again, it was one of those things where I wouldn't have bought them if I didn't find them at my work, and I couldn't use my discount on them. So otherwise, I probably would have never sought them out, because I'm not trying to like replace my CDs with vinyl, because a lot of that stuff I'm not going to be able to replace on vinyl. A, some of these CDs were never pressed, and B, if they were, they might be limited. It's just there's not the same importance with, you know, switching from DVD to Blu-ray and replacing those as there is with going from CD to vinyl. That's just not something I'm going to waste my time with or my money, especially when there's other things I want to buy. I mean, heck, there's even other things I'd like to pick up now and order online. We have the new Incantation that just came out, the Sect of the Vile, I think is what it was called. Love to grab that. I think there's a vinyl release of that. And this year I discovered a guy named NNAMDI, and I was in love with it for, you know, about a month. I just listened to it on repeat, and it's great. It is so unique. It's basically like rap, indie rock, math rock, punk, all just thrown into this little ball. The name of the album's BRAT, by the way, if you guys want to go check that out. It's awesome. And so he does a deal with the new album, BRAT, and his old one, DROOL, on vinyl for $32, and that's on Bandcamp. And so highly recommend going and grabbing that. If I get to the page one day when I actually have a little bit of extra funds and it's gone, I totally understand, but it's something I've been meaning to pick up as well. So you know, like basically what I'm getting at is I don't want to waste my money. I've got other things that I want to pick up, so I will never fully transition over. I will probably still find CDs that I'll buy because maybe they're not going to do a vinyl pressing of it or whatever. Anyways, Acid Bath, When the Kite String Pops, Pagan Terrorism Tactics, both amazing records. Pagan kind of sounds like crap though. Apparently that was a thing though. With all of the vinyl pressings, Rotten Records just for some reason shit the bed when they pressed this, and all of them just turned out the audio quality was just straight garbage. I don't think it's as bad as the consensus on the internet. I think it's passable, but it's definitely the worst sounding record I think I've heard in quite a while or ever. But I have no recollection of another bad record that I've listened to. So, however, When the Kite String Pops sounds pretty good. I'm happy with this pressing. So I'm going to have both. This one came in recently then too. The Untitled Unmastered from Kendrick Lamar. Web store exclusive where he signed it. I didn't really do any research on his website. I was looking at them on eBay. I question how authentic that is because, you know, it's a weird squiggle. So it is something I'm going to have to look up, but apparently it's the web store version. And I did find other ones listed with the same signature, but then there was other Kendrick Lamar signatures on other things that were different enough to where this one felt weird. So, but regardless, I didn't have it. This was one that I did have and got rid of because I do have To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City on vinyl. But I for some reason I didn't keep this, and I don't have the CD, so it was like, I might as well buy it again, especially because this is a cool press. And this is a Grail here. This one's probably one of the more expensive records I've ever bought. However, I got a pretty good deal on it, or else I wouldn't have bought it. But Noname's Telefone. And actually, with all these too, I didn't tell you guys about the color. Yeah, When the Kite String Pops is the only ones. Well, the Acid Baths. We got white vinyl on the When the Kite String Pops. Kind of clear pressing on Pagan Terrorism Tactics. The rest of these have just all been on black wax, so nothing interesting. This one also is too. It's the Vinyl Me Please reissue only version of it, besides another unofficial release that apparently isn't a bootleg, but it's still going for like stupid amounts of money on Discogs. So this is also incredibly expensive, but like I said, I got a good deal on it, and if I didn't get that price on it, I wouldn't have shelled out the money for it. But I did want this physically because it is only available streaming digitally, and I wanted to be able to have a copy in my collection that I could look at and touch and feel and spin on the turntable and enjoy. So those are the pickups for music. We've got one more here with the James Bond, Sean Connery James Bond with his Aston Martin. Pretty awesome. I'll kind of turn the box around a little bit for you guys so you can kind of get different angles. Plus you can see into the window, you know, a little bit better. So I don't want to pull him out of the box. He has, I think, been opened. I don't know, like, there's shitty scotch tape on here, so I assume somebody opened him up and then probably put him back, but you know, he's clean. He's clean inside, no dust on him, so I'm gonna leave him in there. Top of the box has got a nice cut in it though too. But again, I mean, he's gonna be displayed like this, so you're not gonna see all those imperfections in the box, and so it's not a big deal. But anyways, I thought that was awesome. James Bond pops aren't really ones that I'm collecting a whole lot, but I love Sean Connery and I do like James Bond. Specifically his James Bond films, they are probably some of my favorite, so why not have a pop in the collection? So anyways, that's the newest things in the collection. If you guys like my videos, please subscribe, please click the little bell, follow me on Instagram, you'll see some random updates on there. But yeah, I mean, if you like my videos, You can follow me on here, Bell. You can also follow me on Instagram. I do post things from my collection once in a while. Like I said, I haven't done it in several days. I haven't posted anything. So yeah, I mean, a lot of times I'll post things several days in a row, and then you might not hear from me for, a few days to a week. And it just happens. I get sidetracked, I start doing other things. I got, life happens. And so yeah, anyways, if you like the videos, please continue to check them out. Notifications will pop up if you hit the little bell. There's some other music that's coming out that I would really like to talk about, or that's been released, that I would like to talk about. So if I get around to those videos, those will be something that you'll be able to view. I do have the carbonized Boba Fett and Stormtrooper that I pre-ordered from Megalopolis Toys that I would assume should be shipping soon. Once I get those, I will definitely be doing a review on those. And so, however, it won't be much of a review because I'm probably not going to open them. But we can look at them next to my, carbonized Mandalorian. And they'll just look pretty. So, anyways, thanks guys. Look forward to more videos. And this has been Review the Right Thing. Thank you very much.